In the annals of military history, few names command the reverence accorded to Scipio Africanus. Born into the crucible of the Second Punic War, he would rise from the ashes of Rome's darkest hour to become the architect of Carthage's ultimate defeat. Where seasoned generals had failed against the legendary Hannibal, a young patrician would forge a new path to victory, revolutionizing Roman warfare and securing his place among the greatest military minds of antiquity. His triumph at Zama would not merely end a war. It would reshape the Mediterranean world and establish Rome's inexorable march toward empire. Publius Cornelius Scipio was born in 236 BCE into one of Rome's most distinguished patrician families, the Cornelii. His father, also named Publius Cornelius Scipio, served as consul and commanded Roman forces in Hispania, while his lineage traced back to the earliest days of the Republic. The Scipios had built their reputation on military service and political acumen, values that permeated young Publius's upbringing. In the streets and forums of Rome, he witnessed the Republic's complex machinery of governance, absorbing lessons in leadership, diplomacy, and the delicate balance between ambition and duty that defined Roman elite society. Scipio's baptism by fire came at the Battle of Ticinus in 218 BCE, where as a 17-year-old cavalry officer, he saved his father's life during Rome's first catastrophic encounter with Hannibal. The defeat exposed the inadequacy of traditional Roman tactics against Carthaginian innovation, a lesson the young Scipio absorbed with remarkable clarity. At Cannae in 216 BCE, he witnessed Hannibal's masterpiece of tactical destruction, where Roman discipline crumbled before Carthaginian genius. Yet, while others despaired, Scipio studied his enemy's methods, recognizing that Rome's salvation lay not in abandoning its military traditions, but in adapting them to meet new challenges with unprecedented flexibility and strategic vision. The young general's character revealed itself through calculated audacity, tempered by deep intellectual curiosity. Unlike many Roman aristocrats who viewed warfare as mere application of force, Scipio approached military science with the methodical precision of a scholar. He cultivated relationships across social boundaries, earning the devotion of common soldiers through genuine concern for their welfare, while maintaining the respect of fellow officers through tactical brilliance. His marriage to Aemilia Paula, daughter of the consul Lucius Aemilius Paulus, strengthened his political position, yet it was his ability to inspire loyalty through personal magnetism, rather than mere social connections, that distinguished his leadership style from his contemporaries. In 210 BCE, at the unprecedented age of 25, Scipio received command of Roman forces in Hispania following his father's death in battle. His first target was New Carthage, the strategic heart of Carthaginian operations in the peninsula. Rather than attempt a prolonged siege, Scipio employed intelligence gathering to discover that the city's harbor became fordable at low tide. Coordinating a simultaneous assault from land and sea, he captured the supposedly impregnable fortress in a single day. This victory demonstrated his mastery of combined operations and intelligence warfare, while the generous treatment of Spanish hostages began his systematic campaign to win over Carthaginian allies through diplomacy rather than mere conquest. The campaigns in Hispania became Scipio's laboratory for military innovation. At Bayecula in 208 BCE, he demonstrated his adaptation of Carthaginian tactical principles, using flexible formations and rapid redeployment to defeat Hannibal Barca. His greatest triumph came at Ilipa in 206 BCE, where he employed Hannibal's own tactics of double envelopment against a Carthaginian Spanish coalition. By placing his weakest troops in the center and strongest on the flanks, then executing a complex wheeling maneuver, he achieved complete tactical victory. These battles proved that Roman discipline could be married to Carthaginian flexibility, creating a hybrid warfare system superior to either tradition. Returning to Rome in 206 BCE, Scipio faced political opposition from conservative senators who questioned his unorthodox methods and unprecedented influence. His proposal to invade Africa directly challenged traditional Roman strategic doctrine, which favored defensive operations until Hannibal could be defeated in Italy. The debate in the Senate revealed fundamental tensions between innovation and tradition that would define Roman politics for generations. Scipio's eventual election as consul in 205 BCE represented not merely personal advancement, but validation of a new approach to warfare that prioritized strategic mobility and psychological impact. The African expedition of 204 BCE marked Rome's first major offensive beyond the Italian peninsula since the war's beginning. Landing near Utica, Scipio immediately began the political warfare that had proven so effective in Hispania, forging an alliance with the Numidian king Massinissa and systematically undermining Carthaginian influence among African tribes. His tactical innovations continued to evolve, combining Roman infantry discipline with Numidian cavalry mobility to create flexible combined arms formations. The successful siege of Utica and subsequent victories in the African interior demonstrated that Roman military engineering could adapt to desert warfare while maintaining the logistical superiority that underwrote all successful Roman. Carthage's recall of Hannibal from Italy in 203 BCE set the stage for the climactic confrontation between the war's two greatest generals. The preliminary negotiations at Zama revealed both commanders, understanding that this battle would determine not merely tactical victory, but the future balance of power in the Mediterranean. Scipio's psychological preparation proved as crucial as his military dispositions. He had studied Hannibal's methods for over a decade, while his opponent faced an unfamiliar tactical situation with troops inexperienced in his preferred methods. The strategic context heavily favored Rome, as Scipio could afford defeat while Hannibal could not, fundamentally altering the psychological dynamics that had previously favored Carthaginian. The Battle of Zama in 202 BCE represented the culmination of Scipio's military evolution and strategic vision. His tactical deployment directly countered Hannibal's traditional advantages. Roman Velites neutralized the Carthaginian elephant charge through coordinated retreat and missile fire, while Massinissa's Numidian cavalry provided the mobility that had previously belonged exclusively to Carthage. The decisive moment came when Scipio's perfectly timed cavalry charge struck Hannibal's flanks, just as the infantry battle reached its climax. This victory demonstrated not merely tactical superiority, but the successful integration of diplomatic, logistical, and military elements into a comprehensive strategic system that would become the template for Roman. The triumph that celebrated Scipio's return to Rome in 201 BCE marked more than military victory. It announced the emergence of a new type of Roman leader. The honorific title, Africanus, acknowledged not merely geographical conquest, but mastery of a new form of warfare that combined traditional Roman virtues with unprecedented strategic flexibility. Yet Scipio's very success created political tensions with traditionalists who feared that individual military genius threatened republican institutions. His withdrawal from active politics during the 180s BCE reflected both personal disillusionment and recognition that his methods, however successful, challenged fundamental assumptions about the relationship between. Scipio Africanus died in voluntary exile at his villa in Liternum in 183 BCE, the same year that witnessed Hannibal's suicide in distant Bithynia. This parallel ending symbolized the conclusion of an era defined by their rivalry and mutual respect. His military innovations combined arms tactics, intelligence warfare, psychological operations, and diplomatic integration became standard elements of Roman military doctrine, enabling the conquests that would create the Mediterranean Empire. Yet his greatest legacy lay not in tactical innovation alone, but in demonstrating that military genius could coexist with republican virtue, that individual brilliance could serve collective interests without destroying the institutional framework. The historical significance of Scipio Africanus extends far beyond his victories over Carthage to encompass his role in defining the relationship between military innovation and political stability. His career demonstrated that successful adaptation to new strategic challenges required not merely tactical flexibility, but fundamental reconsideration of the relationship between warfare and statecraft. The Roman Empire that emerged from the Punic Wars owed its existence to his integration of Greek strategic thinking, Carthaginian tactical innovation, and Roman institutional strength into a coherent system of conquest and governance. Modern military historians recognize Scipio as the first great practitioner of what would later be termed grand strategy, the coordination of diplomatic, economic, and military resources in pursuit of comprehensive political objectives. His campaigns in Hispania and Africa established precedents for the projection of power across vast distances, the management of coalition warfare, and the integration of conquered territories into expanding imperial systems. These innovations provided the foundation for Roman expansion throughout the Mediterranean, and established principles of strategic thinking that influenced military doctrine well into. The enduring fascination with Scipio Africanus reflects his embodiment of the paradox that defines great military leaders: the capacity to master the arts of war in service of peace, to employ violence systematically in pursuit of stability, and to balance individual brilliance with collective responsibility. His defeat of Hannibal represented more than tactical victory. It demonstrated the potential for republican institutions to generate leadership capable of matching any challenge while maintaining constitutional governance. In an age when military genius often led to political tyranny, Scipio proved that exceptional ability could coexist with civic virtue, establishing a model that would inspire and challenge leaders throughout the centuries that followed his triumphant march through the streets of Rome.